Hey, he's had a cat for or a kid for a week. I've had a cat for 2 years, so
That's true. I have a dog and 2 cats.
That's
and this dude's
insane.
complaining about one kid.
That's crazy.
You
He's got
were
a whole house
technically-
too. You just have an apartment. That's not fair.
I know.
Yeah.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it. Yeah.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
Be
it?
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome into 106 of Birds vs. Boys. I'm Aidan here, and if you're hearing my voice again, you know Kevin will be out this week. By now, you know why his absence was excused last week. The baby came early. Kevin is now a father. Congratulations to Kevin and his wife on the birth of Emma Rose and his beautiful daughter. So we will be out. He will be out again tonight, but hopefully back soon. Thank you to Flipping the Birds for helping us out last week with the roundtable. And we're going to go back to the roundtable style again tonight. I have some of my friends here. A bit of a reunion going on. This could get chaotic, but I'm very excited. So we do have producer Vince. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. But we also have 2 special guests for the roundtable. First, we've got Eddie, my former co-host for the NBA podcast and our resident antagonist. So he is here tonight. Eddie, how are you?
That's not true. I'm good. That was a mean thing to say, but I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm
you play
excited
that
to be
role
here.
well. I think that's why I brought you on, because it's in a friendly way, though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then also making his Birds vs. Boys debut to complete the branded reunion, we've got Philly Fan Life's newest contributor, Keith Walsh. How are you, Keith?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it. Looking forward to talking some birds and boys and football. It's been a little while since I've actually had the chance to. Glad to see Eddie again. Vince, yourself, Aidan. It's been a long time, so excited to get to it.
Hell yeah. Sorry, you've been kind of straddled with the Flyers, and God love you, because that has been this should be refreshing.
It's something exciting.
Yeah, something different and new. As I was introducing you, I realized we'd never addressed this on the podcast, that branded is no longer. I don't think we ever brought it up.
That's fine.
It's been like a month, and I don't think we ever addressed that fact. We just steamrolled through.
It's the little details you don't have to worry about.
That was
right.
Birds vs. Boys
for it.
is now under the conglomerate of Philly Fan Life. That seems like a detail we should have brought up once in the past month. You may have noticed because it's being tweeted from Philly Fan Life recently, but I guess we should announce that. So thanks for reminding me, Walsh.
No problem. glad to help out. It's the only reason I was brought on, right?
I was about to say, as soon as I saw you, I was like, oh yeah, we never we're doing a branded reunion. People were like, why is there a reunion? Guys are, together all the time. So let's get into it tonight. We have a few different topics to go over. It'll be Eagles centric again, but I think a lot of this is NFL tied, so it should be fun for anybody listening. Let's start with the NFL Draft Combine. Starts this week. Everybody's in Indy except for maybe Carson Wentz at this point. But the coaches were there today. Everybody got interviewed, and of course, the Eagles were a topic of conversation. They had a few prospects get interviewed by the media. One of them was Sam Howell. They asked him, hey, have you got any interesting questions from teams yet as you're doing your interviews, going through? He said, no interesting questions, but the Eagles did make me shoot free throws on a mini basketball hoop, which is the most Nick Sirianni thing we've heard to date since the flower analogy. So we'll start. Eddie, I'll start with you. From an outsider perspective, clearly Sirianni and the Eagles do a little bit of pandering. They do things outside the box. How do we feel about the free throw process for the Eagles at the draft combine?
Yeah, man, they're kind of weird. They're a little weird. They're a little weird. It's just unnecessary. I thought this was a football team. I love basketball, but I thought we were trying out for the Eagles, not the Sixers. I don't know. It seems kind of like JUCO move, not a NFL head coach move.
Sometimes those lines get blurred with Siri.
Yeah, do they?
Is this a D2 college football team, or are we running $1 billion corporation? Because
honestly, I don't know.
Sometimes those lines get blurred. I think it's very Eagles centric to do it, but do you think they're trying to stick out to the prospect? Where I know sometimes when you do interviews and people are on an interview circuit, you're like, all right, let me ask them a question they haven't heard. Vince, do you think that you're kind of in the communications field? Do you think they're doing that to like stick out to the prospect instead?
I don't know. To put this in Philly terms, he's goofy. Like he's not a weirdo. Like he's just goofy. Like he's goofy for that. I mean, yeah, they're just definitely trying to like stand out, whether it's to the media or to the players. Like who you're gonna remember I remember what math class. I remember my teacher's name that made us shoot free throws for points on tests, and it's literally the same exact thing. So you're gonna remember the person that makes you shoot free throws.
That would be the only way that I would pass math class, past 10th grade. A tutor, and if I could shoot free throws in order to save my grade, that would be it.
Yeah,
I wish I had.
And then it was she did if she could make it from her desk, everyone got 100.
If she could not.
No, if she took a shot if she made a shot from her desk, everyone gets 100.
Oh,
so why wouldn't she just miss it every time?
She hit one. She did hit one.
Did she?
Well, I'm saying, why wouldn't she miss it on purpose? Why would she want to give the whole class 100? I'd be missing it on purpose every time.
Well,
maybe she's a good person, Walsh. Damn. The fuck?
Walsh's immediate thought was, why don't they just screw those kids over?
Let the 10-year-olds get 100 on the test, dude. What the hell?
So what those idiots have
No
to read
chance.
10th grade. I'm bricking the
Earn
shit.
that.
That's crazy.
Ordering the ball from their halfway across the room.
There's some kid teetering on a 68, and that 100 saved his life.
Right, dude.
No chance. If I know that's the case, I'm standing up and I'm swatting the teacher's shot. No one can get
You're
100.
a bad person. No, you're a bad person.
Oh my god, they would have beat you up in the hallway.
Yeah, you get bullied.
And
I think I would have
and
cried.
you forgot to collect the homework.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Times a million.
I'm sure there's some analytics team telling Nick Sirianni that like this is what people are going to remember. This is the psychology of the brain. This seems like something he would be looking into. So I'm sure that's what's happening.
Yeah,
like,
it might be a psychology thing.
Maybe I'm wrong here, guys, but with the NFL draft, the team picks the player, not the other way around. So who really cares?
So the thing about Philadelphia is that doesn't really matter
No.
much. If you take a great player, they can just decide whether or not they want to be here. So
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic point.
Kind of led me into my point on this whole thing is, look, I'm on board with the free throw thing. I'm on a case-by-case basis with the pandering and what he does and some of the shirts that he wears and everything like that. But with the free throw thing, I'm all into it. I mean, albeit if you're a defensive lineman, you're probably like throwing that shit off the backboard because you're too strong for a mini hoop. But like for a skill position player, you should be making those. And it's a sign of focus. So I guess like maybe it's a sign of focus. Maybe it works. And, who am I to say and judge this theory since I live in a city where we were begging our point guard to focus and make free throws, and he couldn't do it. And look how that turned out. It was a huge red flag. So if these guys can't focus and make free throws, maybe that should be a focus red flag. And plus, given the strategies that they had at the combine before, they watched DK Metcalf run a 4.340 and come in and look jacked. And then they were like, nope, don't want him. So who am I to judge this strategy? Because clearly the previous strategy wasn't working.
So
Well,
do you
they got
think
a
they're
good
looking
special
for
team
people
guy.
to make? Sure, they did. But do you think they're looking more for the people that are making the free throws or missing the free throws? Maybe it's the whole other way around. Maybe he's like, all right, who's missing the most?
I like that. I think it's if you play in the trenches, they want a hole in the backboard because it means you're strong.
Mm-hmm.
If you play wide receiver, if you play quarterback, if you play a skill position, you should be making it.
You two are giving this coaching staff and scouting team and GM way too much credit because they're just dumb and wanted to bring a basketball hoop. They're goofy. They're goofy.
Listen, I will take any draft strategy that wasn't the draft strategy that led us to JJ Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf.
Do you have the same GM?
Unfortunately.
Well, yeah. Now you have mini hoops being brought to the combine.
Because no one went through with my idea. City Hall.
Did they say they mentioned what brand of mini hoop it was? It's very important.
That actually is important. What were the colors?
Very important question.
Because
if it's a Nerf one, oh god.
But okay. The base has to be blue, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But I don't know if they meant mini hoop like the one you put on the back of the door, or like mini hoop like the ones that you
like
had
you see
in
outside my barbershop.
Yes. Yeah. And they're down to the 7 foot, and you just like dunk on it, and you're like, oh my god, I feel like LeBron. Because
I was also kind of thinking like the Little Tykes one that you put.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh.
I was thinking Little Tykes.
Yeah,
like all plastic.
That like the one like when you're a toddler.
Yeah, like you're Kevin.
Yeah,
child.
The box to it has the one kid dunking over the other kid.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you spend your whole adolescence from like age 3 to 7 and dunking on that thing, and every parent thinks, "Oh my god, my kid's gonna be a star," because they're dunking on a plastic rim, and then they shoot on a real rim, and they're like, "Oh my god, that kid's playing baseball."
This kid better be smart.
Yeah. But I mean,
oh my god, I hope he doesn't need his teacher to make a shot for him to pass math class.
Oh, there's no shot the Eagles brought the right one. I refuse to.
No.
There's a lot of journalists in the city who are covering the media sessions and covering the combine. That should be the goal all week. Mm-hmm. I do not care about the Alabama receivers' ACLs. You need to find out what kind of hoop this is that they're shooting on.
Mm-hmm. Remember the inner circle? Not to steal Aidan's bit here. Remember the inner circle from The Office where they had like the hoop in the office and what was Will Ferrell's name?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
D'Angelo. D'Angelo. Yep.
And Jim gets kicked out of it because he was like, "Hey, we're a little bit sexist." And he's like, "Okay, see ya."
And he sneaks into the meeting and he stops. He's in, Jim, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
And like the ball, is this ball a little lopsided? The ball feels a little lopsided. That's why I'm.
Yeah, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, it feels that way." Like Dave is just awkwardly standing in the corner.
Yeah, like Kayvon Thibodeau was like, he missed, but he's like, the ball feels weird. Nick Sirianni's like, yeah, it's weird. It must be a weird ball. Someone get into it.
Must be something wrong with the ball. We're gonna trade up.
Yeah. The last guy threw it too hard. He's got a dent in it now. Obviously.
Yeah. Honestly,
Tyler
I think I'd be more
just
impressed.
threw it.
Yeah.
If that center from Iowa puts a hole in the backboard, I'm even more in. I want him even more. Mm-hmm. I would trade up to get him. That's what I want. But all right. So to wrap it up, Keith, what do you think? Pandering, no pandering. Where do you stand with Sirianni right now after year one in the antics as an Eagles fan?
I don't know. I was out at the beginning, then the whole flowers started to bloom, and I was back in. Then we had the playoff loss, and I was, still in. I was like, hey, we shouldn't be here. I did the typical Philly fan thing. You're out, and then they start doing well again. You're fully back and invested. Then you get your heart broke. So it is what it is.
That's the life of a Philly fan. Am I right?
There you go. Exactly. Bang.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know how many times in my life I've tweeted the GIF from Philly Fan Life of the scene where he's like, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. I think about like 8 to 10 Philly series a year. We tweet that out.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, that's how it is. I don't know. I wish there was a different person in charge of drafting. That's my biggest concern still going forward. Like, I don't think Sirianni did a bad job at coaching this past year. Like, he didn't do enough. At first, I was like, all right, no, this dude stinks. But he actually looked like the team made strides in getting better throughout the year. So I think he is capable of doing something. It's just, I don't know that we're going to get the right pieces because I don't trust the guys that are fully in charge of making the picks. Even with 3 first-round picks, there's a very good possibility that they miss on all 3 of these first-round picks if they even use all 3 of them.
Can I ask a question? I have a Philly question.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good. It's a good question. So do you think Doug Peterson would have got them to the playoffs this year?
No.
Like, what's the result of Peterson's the coach? They farther, same?
They keep throwing the ball and nothing happens.
I don't think he would ever change his ways.
No.
Yeah, I don't think he would have changed as much as Sirianni did. Like, I definitely don't think the adjustments would have been there. Yes.
Yeah. There was that dramatic resurrection of the offense halfway through the year, predicated on running the ball behind a good offensive line. And I think Doug Peterson runs his offense one way only, and it's effective, but it would not be effective given the pieces that the Eagles had.
Okay.
I hope it's effective. Like, he might save Trevor Lawrence. It depends on, that team sucks. I feel bad for him, but Trevor Lawrence could thrive in that offense. This current Eagles roster would not have thrived.
Okay, so then does Howie get credit for firing and then hiring Sirianni?
No.
Okay,
That's a good
all
point.
right.
Is Howie-
That's all I just
Howie-
wanted to know. I'm okay with that answer. I'm very happy with that answer. It's way funnier this way. I just wanted to know.
No, Howie gets no credit for
No, that's
anything
fine.
anymore. I'm
That's
done.
fine.
No, he's a rat. He's a liar.
Yeah, City Hall. I get it. I get it.
Listen, James Santori, we should have had him on and just had a full-fledged reunion. I don't even know if we could fit 5 anymore, but he posted that thing. He's like, if you were in charge, what would you do? And like everyone was like, healthcare, and mine were all like,
I would commit homicide and get away with it.
yeah. I was like, there are certain prisons that need to be reopened, and certain people need to be there. All right, so we'll see what the Eagles do the rest of the week once these players start to truly be evaluated. I love 40-yard dashes, even though they don't matter anymore because people can just time like real game speed, but they're still fun to watch. So we'll see how it plays out this week. Let's get into some guys that are in the league already but could be on the move. I'm sure there's conversations about them while all the GMs are in Indy. The one rumor that I saw this week, Calvin Ridley, likely to be traded so that the Falcons can save $11 million. He didn't really play for them last year. I know he had like a mental health issue, so he didn't really play most of the season. And now it looks like they're just going to mutually part ways. As my co-host Kevin likes to say, shiny new toy syndrome. If there's a big name out there, we go for it. So Walsh, I'll start with you, and then we'll open up to the whole NFL. What are the odds we can land Calvin Ridley? And if you were in charge, which means I'm in charge of the world and Howie's in prison, what would you give up to get Ridley?
I think the odds, they're definitely going to ask about him. I mean, they have to. Your wide receiving core right now, you need it. You need it bad. What I would give up for him is kind of tough because we know what talent he has. He's a great wide receiver. Him missing the time last year for the mental health, I think that might take an effect on what his value is because he missed a lot of time. But hopefully he's, back in a good place and is able to come back in and be that. I think he's on that verge of like great and elite wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a fair place to put him. So I would probably say maybe a 2nd round pick and, maybe a 4th. I think that's a fair value for Calvin Ridley right now.
I agree.
And I think they need to at least try because you can't be any worse than what you have right now before the draft. So, give me Calvin Ridley and DeVonta Smith instead of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and, anyone else that was in that receiving room last year. Because, I wasn't even going to say his name because I don't even want to think he's going to be on this team any longer.
I agree. I think it just has to be done. I don't even know what it would take to cut him, but I think it was like $10 million over 2 seasons. And honestly, if they have to put it, how they have like a tax on soda in the city? If they just had like a Jalen Reagor tax and we all got taxed more for Reagor to be gone, I think that's got to be in the rules somewhere. We got to be able to
just tell me who to Venmo. I'll start sending money now.
Yeah,
whatever it takes. Honestly,
just remind me when I'm pissed because my paycheck's low and I'm like, wait, how come? And they're like, oh yeah, you wanted to get rid of Reagor. I'm like, oh yeah, I never mind. I'm not complaining.
I don't want to hear, oh, he's great on special teams. He's a great returner. No, he's not. He's not great at anything. Okay. No. He's great at being a wasted 1st round pick. That's what he is.
I can't believe
that's
how
all
right
he's going to be
was about that guy. I've never been more right about anything in my entire life. It's just a bad pick. Like the second it was made, it was like, what the hell? What are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Just the whole.
But
world.
yeah, I think
that was bad.
I think it needs to be a top priority. If not Calvin Ridley, definitely another big wide receiver. Like you have to make a move with the money they have and the team. I hate that I'm buying back into believing that the Eagles are going to be the Eagles, but how close they could be to being a Super Bowl contender.
Yes,
you have to do it.
Yes,
You have to give your quarterback the weapons to succeed. Calvin Ridley will help the cause. Go get it done, Howie. Do something and figure it out.
Hell yeah. Love it. I agree. I think wide receiver 1A, I guess you could call him, opposite DeVonta Smith, is top priority, stat, ultra priority. Would anybody here give up a first-round pick for him? You would?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you're kind of in the same boat with the Patriots because Mac Jones, young quarterback, surround him with talent and find out if he's good or not. Just like Jalen Hurts, it's like, all right, well, who do you want him to throw to? How are you going to find out if he's good if he's throwing to bum receiver? So if they got on the line with the Falcons, you'd give up your first round pick?
Yeah, I don't know if I would give up this year's. I'd have to think about it, but I'd give up a future first for sure.
Yeah, you're thinking like, all right, I'll give you my third this year, but next year I'll give you my first round pick.
Yeah, I'll give you some little change this year and you get the rest down the line.
Gotcha. I think if the Eagles were on the phone, they would say, well, you have 3 first-round picks, so we want a first-round pick. We're almost at a disadvantage because they're like, I think other teams would call and offer a second and a third or a second and a fourth, like Walsh said, and we would get on the phone and they'd be like, you have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
We're taking one.
Yeah.
And I think that would
the thing about us is our weaknesses are actually strengths.
Yeah. That always happens in everything in life in Philadelphia. That backfires on us. It's like the scene in The Office. You're welcome, Vince. Oh, you promise I'll be done after this. When Dwight is just like, just once, I want one of my evil plans to come to play. Just one time. I want it to work. And that's us. I think my thought on Ridley is I'm all in on just turning the Eagles into Alabama North. The more Alabama talent you have on the team, the better. Get Ridley. You can draft John Mechie or Jameson Williams. If Will Anderson is on the board, get him. You got DeVonta Smith and Landon Dickerson last year. Just get as many Alabama people as possible. I think that is a flawless, foolproof plan.
I mean, look what they've done in college. It has to translate to the NFL, right? At some point.
Yes, that is one of my rules. It's just draft the best players on the best teams. It's like why I went.
Plus, maybe that's the way to lure the coach. Just saying.
Nick Saban back to the NFL?
Yeah, get Saban back to the NFL because, hey, Saban, you're basically just taking over Alabama as they're older.
That worked with Oregon, right? Mm-hmm. Chip Kelly. That worked real well.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Let's try again.
You're right. That worked very well.
At first, you don't succeed. You try again.
Yeah,
that's a good point. If Howie Roseman's anything, he's committed.
Exactly.
Do you think Nick Saban would put him in a broom closet like Chip Kelly did?
You can only hope.
That Nick Saban is at that point in college football where you guys play NCAA, the video game, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You ever get to that point in your dynasty where you're like, all right, I just get the number 1 recruiting class every year. They're just 5 stars rolling in. I have to like cut players off the team who are like blue chip recruits because I have too many. I'm just winning everything. I'm bored. Do you think Nick Saban's ever going to get to that and just be like, all right, I'm done. Maybe I'll try the NFL. Maybe I'll try something different.
Can Philly pay as much as Bam again?
Probably not.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's
for college is easier for him. He will make way more. And it can't cost much living in Alabama. It just can't.
Great point.
He's literally like because it's through the state. He's the highest state paid employee.
Yeah, dude. He's the richest man in the poorest state. Like he's the king.
A king. Yeah.
You want him to come to Philly? Come on.
I don't know if he would.
Yeah, I don't think it ever happened.
Would he ever get bored and be like, all right, I'm just going to go to the NFL because I'm just kind of bored doing this?
No.
I mean, I don't know if
it is the Alabama of the North
as much.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just winning that much, like it could be boring, but at the same time, it's like getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah,
it's like all the success is already there, so people are just going to come to the school anyway because it's Alabama. So he could literally sit in his chair, do nothing, sit back, relax, and just watch the 5-star recruits roll in, go out on the field, give them a basic game plan, and they go to the national championship every year.
Yeah, it's like when you play Roller Coaster Tycoon and you build it up enough where you're like, all right, I have to do nothing. People are just pouring through the gates and they're in the lines for the roller coaster. That was the best.
Exactly.
Except
You
then
never want to give that up.
And like if you play it long enough, then one of your roller coasters just flies off the tracks and kills 24 people.
I have not played it long enough.
That happened.
That's also not played it long enough.
Well, maybe I just built a faulty roller coaster.
Yeah, I think you just broke the game. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Sounds like you got a lawsuit heading your way.
Yeah.
Clearly, I was not built to be an architect.
No, you did something wrong.
I
I think.
did something wrong on the game.
Too
Kind
many
of funny though
loop-de-loops.
that we were like 12 playing that game. You're like, oh, roller coaster crash. You killed 24 people.
Yeah. No, it's. I think that explains a lot here.
Yeah. Like, did you guys watch the last episode of Euphoria?
Yeah.
Like,
Nope.
Nate is this terrible person, and then you like get his dad's story, and you're like, oh, that explains so much of his formative years. Like every plot point to this point makes so much sense.
Yeah. No, all the dots. They're all connected.
You're like, oh, this explains so much about who he is as a person.
Someone had a whiteboard. They were looking like Charlie from Always Sunny, just pointing at the board there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Well, to Calvin Ridley, I think we were all like, if we could get him on our team, we definitely want him on the team. We'll see what price it is. I hope the price is lower because they're trying to save money. A price that'll definitely be high. Russell Wilson. The GM today came out and said that they're not going to trade him. Do you think, guys, there's any chance they do trade him and that's just like buzz and maybe he's just like, you know what, I'm done with Seattle. I want a new journey.
Brooklyn had no plans on trading James Harden, so according to Steve Nash.
Yeah, that's true. And
If there's one thing teams say when they're about to trade someone is that they're not going to trade them.
I was thinking when I heard that, I was like, great.
Took the
To
words
be
right
fair,
out of my
though,
mouth. Anytime someone says we're not trading, they're trading.
But also, when they're not trading, they do say that too. So
It's a fine line.
Yeah,
you're in a real pickle. You're in a
But
pickle.
you know, more times than not.
One of these times the GM's going to come out and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of sick of this. We're getting rid of him. That's honestly kind of what the Colts did with Carson Wentz. They're like,
Yeah.
you know, our hands are kind of tied. We don't really want him anymore.
We thought he was better. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. They were like, yeah, that's not what we expected.
No.
What did we give up to get him again?
If only they
could have
listened
had
to
Calvin
me.
Ridley.
Man, that snap count. We should have really monitored that better.
Yeah, it was crazy because he was actually playing really well. And then he hit the 75%, and then he didn't play well.
Classic Carson.
Yeah, well,
Maybe it
thank
was
you.
just his plan all along to help us out.
No, he
Yeah,
just does this
Him
every
giving back
year.
to Philly.
He does
I don't
it
know, I'm
every
just saying,
year,
he's
guys.
giving
He's
back to
not
Philly.
good. No, he's bad. Guys, he's not good.
I
I'm
will
looking at it,
die.
he's giving back to Philly.
I want him on Pittsburgh so bad. I think he would be a great Steeler. I think if he could just launch bombs to Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson and hand it off to Najee Harris, it could save his career. I think he'd be great in Pittsburgh.
Aidan will move to Pittsburgh if Carson Wentz gets traded.
Without a doubt. I'd buy season tickets. I'd be on the Turnpike every week, 6 hours, every Sunday. No doubt about it.
I mean, that's dedication right there.
Hell yeah.
I've never seen someone simp for Carson Wentz so fucking hard.
I was thinking about it after the Colts debacle. And I was like, why am I so tired? I'm like, because usually my takes actually work. Not the hot takes that I do for jokes. Like the ones where I'm actually like bought in, here's the proof, here's why I believe it. They usually work out. Carson Wentz, like the take is just not working out for me. And I have to sink with the ship. I'm like the captain on the Titanic.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give up now. How long's it been?
5
Way
years.
too long.
Yeah, so
Way
you got to
too
just
long.
stick with it at this point. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll get that another year where, like, maybe this season, wherever his new team is, he'll have that ACL campaign where he comes MVP-like season, goes down week 15. But at least you had those first 14 weeks, you know?
That's what I'm hopeful of. That is the goal. Well, I don't want him to get hurt, but I just want that like MVP caliber season one more time. And I'd be like, ha, I told you. I knew it was still in there. So we'll
Do you
see.
think your commitment to him is like a representation thing?
In what sense?
And the fact that he's like one of the only he could have been one of the only talented ginger athletes.
Probably. It's just maybe it's a psychology thing. Maybe I'm like, this could have been me if I had like bigger thumbs and was 6'5".
Oh,
Yeah,
That's why I feel like
I picked up on what Vince was saying immediately. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I feel like Keith probably doesn't hit the same way for him because he is the Flyers, and you have to be ginger to be drafted or to be on the Flyers, so it doesn't really resonate with him as much with Carson Wentz. But with you, it's really
he had
Claude in a way.
He was good.
That's where I was going with. His Carson Wentz is my Claude Giroux. That's basically like
it's worked out though.
Yeah, I mean it's not as great, but because Giroux's a great player, it just doesn't get the respect. Wentz is a
You sound like Aidan
okay player.
I thought that Wentz would be Giroux to the city, like he was.
Yeah,
and it's just no, it's not working. It's not working how I thought it was.
He was a more of a Ben Simmons type, I'd say.
Yeah. Except it
was kind of perfect. They
What
came
was?
in together. They left together.
It was pretty wild that happened that way.
How
it
years
started.
don't add up. Don't worry.
It's how it started and then how it ended were two totally different dramatic plot points that you didn't see coming.
All right, so question for you then in regards to that, Aidan. If, let's say, Carson Wentz goes to an AFC team, let's say it is the Steelers, he somehow manages to get them all the way to the Super Bowl, and they're going against us, the Eagles, because we somehow managed to get there. Who are you rooting for?
The Eagles. But at least I can fall back. I wouldn't be that sad because I was like, I was right this whole time, you idiots. So either way, I win.
I always said Carson Wentz was a 2-time Super Bowl winning champion.
I was about to say, now he has 2 rings. And you guys have to shut up and respect my take or my team. One way or another.
Mason Rudolph win Super Bowl MVP.
He'll be leading the Aidan will be leading the charge to get Wentz into the Hall of Fame at the end of his career if he does that.
If he won a Super Bowl MVP, I don't even know. I would tailgate in Canton for 7 years getting ready for it. Every day. I would have a sign, Wentz for Hall of Fame. Every day.
We should have an intervention. We need an intervention.
This is a toxic relationship that Aidan refuses to end.
Bad.
Yeah. This was I rounded up this group, but it'd be funny if Vince had a side text and he's like, guys, he's gonna bring up Wentz when he does try to talk about it. It's like it has to stop. I can't hear it anymore.
Vince has not made that.
Aidan, we love you, but there's something we need to tell you.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Imagine like parents walked into the room.
If they popped on this stream, like, oh god. I was just watching a TikTok of John Mulaney when he was talking about his drug problem. He's like, I knew it was an intervention. He's like, do you know how bad your drug problem has to be for you to walk in a room and be like, oh, this is an intervention? That would be me. If I walked in, they're like, oh, I probably have to shut up about Carson Wentz now. This is the problem.
You don't get to talk unless you're holding the Carson Wentz plushie.
Yeah, I still have behind me. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of blocked, but I do have his card and a little bobblehead. I just never got rid of it.
Sad.
Couldn't do it.
No, well, I didn't have anything to replace it. I didn't have a Jalen Hurts bobblehead, so I just
it'll be one of those things. It'll be one of those things Aidan's wife tries to sell at like a flea market or a yard sale in like 20 years. And he's like, no, you can't get rid of that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna move in with a lucky lady, and she's gonna be like, I want to design it one way, and I'm gonna be like, I want to hang all these rally towels from a 2007 Eagles game in my house, and it's gonna be a big ordeal.
It's gonna be a whole thing.
I can see that fight coming 5 years down the road.
Your man cave is gonna be literally that. She's gonna make you dig a crevice under the house to put all that stuff in.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a shed, backyard, and that'll be it.
Oh,
Aidan,
but back to Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I've been a little uncomfortable this whole time, and I just figured out why. It's because I'm not in uniform. So just before I forget, I'm going to throw this on so we can get things moving.
Thank God.
I completely forgot.
I don't think you can take it off anymore. I think you have to wear it every show from here on out.
I think you're right.
I can't wait till we do an interview and someone's like, "Oh, is he a Billie Eilish fan?" And someone recognized it and was like, "Oh,
yeah, she's
Billie
great."
Eilish. Yeah.
Who?
And they also missed the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
To go to one of her shows.
Well, no. So we were talking in our group chat. So ESPN said 2/3 of the population watched the Super Bowl, and I was like, our podcast reflects those stats.
Perfect. Statistics. Perfect representation. 2 out of 3.
Yeah, Nielsen, their only sample size was our podcast.
They nailed it, too.
Yeah, I love how most of the funniest content from the show comes from just random non-Eagles and Cowboys stuff.
That's usually sad. That's why.
Well, yeah, it's usually people laughing at our pain. I think our shows do better when our teams lose.
Yeah,
that's the people
For
just
sure.
get off on that.
No one wants to
look
hear
at the
you
numbers.
happy.
You're right.
Yeah,
Right.
that I get more texts when the Sixers I got more texts after Game 7 last year than I ever did after any win. I was like, "Hey, thanks for checking in."
It was
Always
so
trying to keep us
funny.
down. That's what it is.
So good.
Yeah,
I loved it.
they're just trying to keep us down. But on that Sixers point, they obviously have James Harden. He's been unreal. We're recording after they won tonight. They're 3-0 since his arrival. It was a sellout. It was his first game was the most watched game on NBC Sports Philly ever. The stardom has clearly created a buzz that people really aren't even talking about the other 3 teams in the city. Does that make you want a star like Russell Wilson more? Walsh and Vince, this is more geared towards you guys, but Eddie will get you in too. How do you guys feel? Watching Harden, are you like, all right, now we got to pull a trigger on Russ?
See, it doesn't make me want Russ because I'm not sold on him, but I would be more okay with them getting Aaron Rodgers. Like, this makes me want to be like, give me Aaron Rodgers.
You'd be okay with the reigning MVP? Really?
Yeah, I would.
Wow.
Fine,
That's
I'll
brave.
play.
okay.
That's brave.
Very okay with that. I know. No, but you have a very short window to win in the NFL. If the Eagles are smart, which we know they're, usually not, but they can get the talent that where all they need is a great quarterback. Give me Aaron Rodgers. Whatever it takes, give me Aaron Rodgers. Give me the rest of his career, 2-3 years, whatever it may be, and give me a chance at the Super Bowl every year because we have the best quarterback in the league. I don't want Russell Wilson, but this Harden thing, before he got here, I did not watch a single Sixers game from start to finish. I have watched the last 3 from start to finish because of James Harden.
I'm a sick fuck who watches every game start to finish, whether Harden's on the court or whether it's freaking Shake Milton.
Hey, I can relate to that because I still watch the Flyers religiously like that. So, I mean, it's stupid, but,
The Celtics are good now. I watch less games.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
why?
weird.
I don't know. I think I hate myself. I don't know.
Quick basketball minute. Eddie, speaking of the Celtics, I was thinking now that we have Harden, there's no team in the league that will keep me up at night in terms of like playing in the playoffs, the NBA Finals. But I would lose like a few minutes of sleep if we played the Celtics in the first round.
Yeah, you would.
I'd stay up like a few minutes past my bedtime and be like,
oh, yeah.
Derek
White's going to have Maxie in the fucking torture chamber.
Yeah. It's just be like, okay, well, if Thibel's on Tatum, then who guards Jaylen Brown? Or
Right.
vice versa. It's just if I go to bed at 11, I'd be up to 11:07 thinking about that.
Oh, and dude, Rob Williams gets better every single night. He's nasty.
He is the classic guy. 1 out of 10 athletic guys like that figure it out where they're like, hey, I don't have to jump every time, even though I can. And once they figure that out, then they become elite defenders. And he is the guy who figured it out. We're like, I don't have to jump over someone. I could just play straight up defense sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me about this year's Celtics team is they got Celtics guy names back on the team. Like Rob Williams is a Celtics guy name.
That's
Peyton
true.
Pritchard.
Yeah.
Daniel
Tice was born a Celtic. I can't get rid of that guy and get him back fast enough.
Al Horford.
Al Horford. He's been a Celtic for 35 years.
I can't.
You guys are trying to add like Kyrie.
I can't believe
Irving,
he's good again.
Walker. Like these aren't Celtics. These are other teams' people. They weren't Celtics.
Kyrie Irving wasn't a Celtic. It just never.
No. I do miss Isaiah Thomas though.
He's barely
a Celtics name, but
he was a Celtic. Isaiah Thomas is a Celtic.
Isaiah Thomas is a Celtic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because our cities love like tough underdog guys. Like they're like, we could have this uber talented person.
Emphasis on the under with Isaiah Thomas too.
Yeah.
Because he's short.
Yeah.
No, I got it. He's about your size. a little bit bigger.
Oh boy. Vince, we'll let you rebound with Russell Wilson. Do you want to star more because of James Harden?
Honestly, my first thought after Russell Wilson was that I want Freddie Freeman. It wasn't football related, but
I would take that.
I mean, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a phenomenal, not a number 2 guy, like a 1A guy, and I don't think that exists in football really. Like that's kind of what James Harden is. Like this is Joel's team, no matter what. The Eagles don't have a guy where it's his team. Like maybe Jason Kelsey, but like he's out the door and also like not a flashy position. So it's not like he's like there's no one owns the Eagles team. Like there's no guy. Like, we need a cornerstone. Yeah, we need to face like a franchise player that like this is their team before we go out and try to trade for some superstar.
I feel like the last time we had that was Terrell Owens, where he came in and everyone was like, "Oh, there is a clear talent gap between him and every other person at his position."
DeVonta,
so that was Donovan McNabb's team, and you brought in Terrell Owens. I saw a great blog written by some guy. I can't remember who said it, but like that how the James Harden trade was a lot like the Terrell Owens one.
Yeah, I can't remember who did it. I read that and it was very well written. That person should be considered for a Pulitzer Prize in journalism. Sure. All I'm going to say. Maybe check out PhillyFanLife.com because it was excellent journalism. It's probably the most well written piece of work since the Gettysburg Address.
Fair.
Wow.
Fair. I mean, just fair.
Gonna have to go check that out.
Yeah. But I would love Freddie Freeman on the Phillies, but I guess he's a star. Baseball just doesn't have stars. Like the sport barely exists as it is. That's the problem.
Does it still exist?
What's that?
Does it still exist?
No.
No, I just don't think you're having a season this year.
Technically, no. That's baseball's problem. Is they're like, how can we make stars less of stars every time they do it? I think in the city, like baseball fans would be like, oh my God, yes, like he's a star. But everybody else, like everybody in the city's bought in the Harden thing. That's why it has to be like the premier. I think if the Phillies got like an ace pitcher, like I don't even know who we would have got. Like if we got Max Scherzer, like wow, locked in, something like that. But it has to be quarterback for the Eagles. On Aaron Rodgers, it would obviously he is just an amazing talent. Would increase the level of production in every receiver on this roster. DeVonta Smith would be a Pro Bowler without a doubt. But that first like September loss, and then he goes on Pat McAfee and talk about like vaccination status.
Oh, you couldn't take it.
The radio airwaves in this city, they couldn't get the drop button ready fast enough with some of the 4-letter words people would drop after that first loss. And he goes on the McAfee show and talking about vaccinations and stuff like that. This city would implode.
Oh man! But if you get Russell Wilson, you'll get you get Russell Wilson. You have a couple Sierra concerts maybe coming down.
That's facts. I didn't think of that. That's big. That's real big.
He's bland enough. I don't think the city will get mad at him. He's just like a boring character.
I don't want that though. You know what I mean? I want someone that's going to get me excited. Like Russell Wilson, is he better than Jalen Hurts? Obviously, but he doesn't get me like, oh yeah, hell yeah, like let's go Eagles. Like this is it. That's the guy we needed. Now we're going back to the Super Bowl. Like Eagles haven't had somebody in a long time where it's like, this is it. Like this is his team. We need to like do everything we can to get around it and go off. Like there's no superstar.
Carson, but
how much better?
Unlimited.
Is right than Jalen. Is he 20 better?
He's at least 5 times better. If not.
So he's what, $8 million better?
Yeah.
I don't know if you make that change then. I don't think the difference in skill is big enough to take that paycheck because I don't think you're going to win with Russ.
That's my problem. That's my problem with every quarterback trade. It's like, all right, we traded for this guy. It cost more, and we had to give a draft picks. Are we closer to a Super Bowl? Yes. Are we close enough to win a Super Bowl? No. Yeah. It's like, all right, we put ourselves in purgatory. We're not good enough to win the Super Bowl, but we're also not bad. So,
to be fair, I don't think Aaron Rodgers wins you a Super Bowl either. I think there's actual issues with your team that needs to be addressed before.
he couldn't win the Packers a Super Bowl. So
yeah, and the Packers are significantly better than you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been to a Super Bowl in a decade. Yeah,
he couldn't score 17 points on the 49ers at home. Like, there's no shot he's winning a Super Bowl.
We could score 17 on them.
I was going to say, we played them this year. I'm pretty sure we scored more points than that.
Yeah.
I was talking about us. Like, this group right here, us four, could score 17 on those 49ers.
I think, yeah. If I don't know who's blocking Bosa, but
God, I'll take him.
Ball out quick.
I'll take him.
Shotgun ball out quick. Walsh got him. All right, perfect.
You just got to sacrifice your body every play. Go for it.
It's fine.
Do you want a ring or not?
I got a medal already.
That's true. Aidan does have a medal.
Listen, I wore the medal. I wore the medal tonight. All the attention of the two hosts on this podcast, it's been 90% Kevin and 10% me. So I'm getting the attention of these two hosts back 50-50.
Aidan was feeling
brilliant.
Left out.
He had a kid.
I respect the move. I respect the move.
There's no skill.
I won a championship. It was me doing all the heavy lifting. You know what he had to
Arguably,
do? Lay in a chair.
It takes more skill to not have a kid than it takes to have a kid.
That's a fact.
That's true.
We're at the age where if you have a kid, that means you have no skill because it means you didn't get out of the trenches in time.
Yeah.
Can we hear the stat line from the game, though? Or is that irrelevant to the medal?
Yeah, well.
No, I had some stats. I was playing. I hurt my knee again, so every time I jump,
minutes were locked.
This could be it.
Dude, Aidan's got the worst knees in the fucking world. Why do you have Bill Russell's knees right now?
I don't know. What was hilarious is I bought these straps. They put them around your knee for they're called patellar straps or something. And I read the reviews. I was like, I wonder if these actually work. Which sidebar, they do. But it was hilarious. Every review was like, I'm 70 and I have arthritis, but I still love running. And these were great. And it was like every comment like that. And I'm like, I'm 27. I just want to make it up and down basketball court.
I'm 27. I put up 16, 3, and 5.
That literally was probably the stat line. It worked. I can agree. 5 stars. Me and all the 7-year-olds. Unreal. All right. Well, I think that was all the topics that I had tonight. Do you guys have anything else? Oh, real quick, we'll go around. Kyler or Russ more likely to be traded?
Kyler.
Yeah, I'm going to say Kyler as well. He just doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I'm only going to say Kyler because both sides really went out of their way to say that a trade isn't happening. And to circle back to what we were talking about before, that absolutely means a trade is happening. When multiple parties
he goes trade. Or he goes play
trade for each other.
Now, that would be interesting. Just change the scenery for both. It would be very bad for Kyler's brand, though, if they did a change of scenery trade, which would probably never happen considering they're in the same division. But if Russ went to the Cardinals and then they were legit Super Bowl contenders, oh, wow, you're kind of a fraud, which is what people have been saying.
I am not those people, Kyler, just for the record.
Not necessarily him, but every year the people are the Cardinals probably aren't good. And then they end up not being good.
Yeah.
So, did you guys see that Super Bowl commercial? Did you guys see that Super Bowl commercial with the claymation football players?
Did you see the Super Bowl commercial? You were at a concert.
I saw it after the fact.
One guy that didn't. One of the 4 people in here that didn't watch it.
What do you mean? Did we see the commercial? Yeah. We were at the freaking Wells Fargo Center with some 19-year-old pop star. Yeah, we saw the commercial.
Hey, she's 20.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But the animation they made of Kyler Murray just seems so disrespectful. His forehead was like a 7 head, and he had these tiny little beady eyes. I was like, you didn't have to do this to him. You could have made him look like Kyler Murray a different way.
That's why he wants out of Arizona.
The problem when you're small and then they do like the mini me versions of players is that you already look like a mini me version, so it never works out well. It just looks disrespectful.
I would lose my mind if I logged into Twitter every day and saw pictures of me this big running around in the backfield. I would lose my mind.
Where he's 2 inches tall and his head is enormous, and everyone posts that picture every week. That would get under my skin.
So I made a graphic this year for another person I work for that does a lot of football stuff. And I used the picture was going to be a Kyler Murray, and I threw that one in there of him being all tiny, just as a joke for myself. And I was like, okay, I have to delete this. I can't send this over.
Oh, you should have done it.
But I know I should have. They would have tweeted it too.
Is it our friend? Yep.
Yeah.
You can shout him out.
Yeah, it's true. Warren Sharp. It was Warren Sharp.
Yeah, you might as well name drop.
Yeah,
it's a good name to drop.
It's a good name drop. It's a good name drop.
Might as well get your brand out there.
Right.
But yeah, that is funny. I agree with you guys. I think he'll be the most likely to be traded. Because if I were the GM of the Cardinals and I read that statement they put out this week where it was like, we're committed to the Cardinals, but also we're not committed to the Cardinals if they don't give us a long-term deal. We like the Cardinals, but also we don't have to be with the Cardinals, and just like an entire letter that says like, we're committed right now, but maybe not. And I'd be like, I literally got you DeAndre Hopkins for a second-round pick. Well, I got you Zach Ertz for literally nothing. What else do you want me to do commitment-wise? You want a long-term deal. We haven't won a playoff game. So if I were the GM, I'd be like, all right, this guy can go play baseball for all I
It sounds like somebody hit some. Somebody hit someone with the what are we?
Yeah. That is a definite. They are at that stage in the relationship where they've been talking every single day. They do all the things that relationship people do, but they've never like taken the title and they never made it permanent. So now they're at that point where they have to have the awkward conversation. Are we going to address the elephant in the room? Or are we going to make this a permanent thing? Or are we just going to go separate ways? And that's literally where the Cardinals and Kyler are at.
Is that
introducing him to someone new? Like, hey, this is my girlfriend. I don't know.
Jimmy. This is my friend Jimmy. He's from San Francisco.
They just extended Cliff. I don't know if they do that if Kyler's leaving, though. Do you think they go with Cliff over Kyler?
Well, that could be it. They could be like, we like our GM, we like our coach. We gave them long-term deals. Do we want to give another person a long-term deal? Or are we committed to the quarterback? Because that's what they want. They want a long-term deal. And like, I don't know. Like, is he worth the long-term deal yet? I honestly don't know.
I think if they can keep defenses out of his face for more than half a second, we got a shot at something.
That helps too. That helps too. But I think they've drafted well enough and traded well enough that
it's a good team. It's a really good team.
At some point, there needs to be a common denominator going on.
Yeah.
Do we want Jalen for Kyler Murray?
100%. I would take Kyler for Mac easily. And my team's way better than your team.
Well,
what do you mean? Well,
we made it to the same place.
Yeah,
we both got our ass kicked.
Aidan, stop it. We would fuck you up. Stop.
No,
we'd put the hurting on you.
I have recency bias, and the last I saw of you, the Bills scored on literally every single possession that they had the ball against.
Yeah, that was. I honestly, you watched that game more than I did.
That was rough. That was one of the games where like,
bad.
Wow, this is. It's so good that it's almost boring.
Listen, I told you I wanted Cam. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was wrong, but I did tell you I wanted him.
That's true. The Kyler thing, I mean, he's definitely better than Jalen Hurts, but this city, like the first time Kyler does that, like head down, like, why is my receiver not where I want him to be? And puts the head down, the shoulder. He always does like the shoulder shrug with the face palm and everything. And like, I don't think it would go well in the city at all on the radio airwaves, and just in general, the vibe check would not pass. So I think he's more talented than Jalen. Would he work here? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. He's kind of like
I don't think he works here at all.
No.
He's like the pro version of Jalen Hurts. Like when you upgrade from like Canva to Canva Pro. He's that version of Jalen Hurts.
You unlocked it without ads.
Yeah. He's like YouTube Premium version of Jalen Hurts. He's like,
Yeah.
Do you want to spend all this money to have to save yourself 30 seconds? Like, is it that important?
Is it worth it? Probably not.
Yeah,
that much.
I take Kyler over Russ.
I don't think I would.
Oh, I don't think I'd think about it either. I
You're
think
crazy,
Russ is
man.
done. I think he's done.
You don't
I
think you
Kyler's
think
got
about
a decade. I don't think I would think about it. Like if it's like you can have Kyler or Russ, I would go Kyler, 100%.
I've seen Russ win a Super Bowl and win playoff games and have
like 10 years ago, Aidan.
Yeah, well, no, it was like 2015.
Whoa. I've seen the
it's like
Patriots
10 years
lose
ago.
a Super Bowl. I haven't seen Russ really win one.
Yeah,
I got that backwards. I'm gonna cut that part out.
Yeah, cut that part out. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second.
I got that all backwards.
yeah,
No,
almost.
He's had playoff moments. I don't know. I would take if my window is like 3 years, then definitely Russ.
No, I think he's done. I don't think he's good anymore. I think he's done.
I'm
that's not
looking
possible.
now.
He's never done because he's
unlimited.
Dude, he's the corniest person I've ever seen.
I know it's
Let Russ
unbelievable.
cook.
Let Russ cook.
That I would agree
How
with.
much is he gonna have a cooking show? How much is he gonna have a cooking show when he retires?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, he's
He
doing
is
Michael
going to be
Strahan.
on midday.
Yep.
Yeah. Midday cable TV. Russ and Sierra's kitchen.
Dude, I saw Michael Strahan doing a news report for fucking Ukraine this week.
What?
I know, and
That's
Ryan
insane.
Clark. I'm not joking.
You know how Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have that like Red Table show?
Mhm.
There's absolutely going to be a spinoff where it's like
Oh yes,
Russell Wilson and Sierra talking about how to make a relationship work, and they'll be like, let's talk about how, there's always been obstacles. Like I have a child with another person. He is a rapper named Future, and it'll be a big whole thing. And they're going to talk about like how they made it through like their son literally being named Baby Future. And it'll just be an awkward 30-minute show. I'm like, who watches this?
How many times Russ mentioned God in that show though?
Oh,
Over under 350.
They're gonna bring that up. They're gonna be like, we have this anarchist rapper who is the father of the child that we take care of. You know what got us through this? God and God only. End of show.
Every episode ends with them on their way to Sunday church.
Oh yeah, it comes
Have
out
you-
on Sunday.
Have you
The
seen it? It was
gospel
like it was a group of
doesn't
like
matter on
6
Sunday. We
pictures.
rest on Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have you seen the picture where it's Russ? It was just like Russ's different ethnicities. Just he changes his hairstyle, or gets like a little bit more tan. He's like 17 different ethnicities.
yes, yeah.
It's one of my favorite things whenever it goes on Twitter.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna bring up the one when they're praying with each other, and it's like he's on the either she's on the ground or he's on the ground, and they're just like got their hands up, and it's just like,
That's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot to handle.
I can't wait for the pictures of Future looking at his phone with just text over the picture.
Yeah,
That's gonna be sick. It's gonna be so sick.
I think Seattle's a great place where you get away with a lot of that stuff because it's on the West Coast. Everything's 3 hours behind. It's not a huge media market. And then a lot of the stardom, like if he played for the Giants, like a lot of the rumors say, like I feel like the stardom of him would escalate given his talent, and he dates or is married to another famous person. Like we would get a lot more Russell Wilson headlines. Like they would be in the news a lot if he went to New York or someplace like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't really hear about Seattle nightlife.
No, that's true. Yeah. Or
Brainstorm.
he might go to the
You don't hear about
Dolphins.
Seattle life in general.
All I know is the one movie is in Seattle.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Sleepless? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's the one.
Also, iCarly.
iCarly in
iCarly,
Seattle?
Yes. Mhm.
Yep.
I did not know that.
That's my
probably
limit
get
of Seattle knowledge.
probably get
Starbucks.
confused because
They have a really good donut shop.
in a fish
Voodoo
market.
Donut.
Do you think Seattle people get mad at
Seattle
the
people?
sights and sounds. You know how Philly people are like, I'm so sick of seeing Pat and Gino's cheesesteaks every time they cut from a commercial during one of our games. Do you think the people in Seattle are like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing this fish market and the Space Needle thing that they have?
They're like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing ads for granola bars.
Which
No,
something
they're all like, I'm just so
I
sick
see
and
Jim
tired.
throwing that damn fish one more time. Yes.
Yeah.
Do they have TVs in Seattle? That's a serious question.
Probably not.
I don't think they do.
Definitely a more nature-based society.
I mean, let's be real. They're hippies. They're all hippies.
They probably live a healthier life than me.
Oh, yeah. No, we're all dying.
sure.
Yeah.
No,
Stuck into our phones, addicted to technology. They probably live way healthier lives than me.
They're so
I don't
much
know about
better
you
than
guys.
us, too.
I'm the picture of health. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. No, of course. Of course.
Seattle's the only place that survives World War III.
Yeah, because no one knows anyone's there.
Yeah.
There's no
Aren't they the
radar.
closest
There's
to
no,
Russia
there's
out
no
of everyone
GPS.
in the
Closer to Russia?
Yeah, well,
much.
that's unimportant, dude.
Not
right?
important.
No.
Because it's not
attention.
important.
Oh, pay attention. I saw a nuclear
I'm
chart
not a
list,
geography
okay?
guy,
I didn't
right?
see Seattle on it. Listen,
A nuclear-
you know who was
Russia's gonna-
first on that list? Boston was first on the list I saw. So I don't want to hear shit, okay?
Russia's going to send a nuke. The only one they're going to get is Jesse Pinkman out in Alaska. And that's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
That
Sorry, Keith. Spoiler. I know you just finished the show.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the movie yet.
Yeah,
Sorry.
damn it.
well.
The guy still doesn't die because that's all I was thinking the entire show. I was like, this dude's dead. This dude's dead. He never died.
No, dude, he's like a cock.
Or does he? You never know. Watch the movie.
Well, now I know.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I think we completely hit every single pop culture reference that we can hit on this episode while tying it into football and the NFL. This was fantastic. This is either going to be our most listened to episode ever because of how funny it is, or our least listened to episode of all time because people are like, these three people or these four people are absolute maniacs.
Yeah.
There will be no in between. I loved it. I had a great time. I haven't laughed this hard doing a show in a long time, especially in an off season like this. This is the perfect time to do a show like this. So thank you to you guys for filling in. We'll let everybody know where they can find you. So Eddie, you start first. Where can the people find you?
My
Or not,
social.
because you live in New Hampshire. So
Well, all right. I'm on the border, bro. Don't leave me alone, okay? I'm basically in Mass. It's at EJS_4 on everything. That's it.
easy enough. Walsh, where can they find you?
Same thing at Keith_Walsh 18 on just about everything. Life of a Philly fan. Be blogging if you're a Flyers fan out there listening because you are tired of seeing how bad that team is and don't want to talk about or listen to anything about them. Well, come to me. I'll keep you sane, kind of.
Yeah, I think you put a nice positive spin. I read over them just to make sure like there's not a headline missing or 6 words missing in a sentence. And I'm like, you know what? He put a positive spin on this really bad team. So great job.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Vince, I don't know if we ever get a chance to like shout out where they can find you. So you go ahead. This is your moment. Usually we just bring you in for the TikTok.
It's Vince SCIAN_ on Twitter. And then you can also follow 15M Media on Twitter. It's our company that kind of does Birds versus Boys, Warren Sharps podcast, some other stuff. It's at 15MMEDIA 15M Media on Twitter.
Hell yeah. And then you can find us at Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter, as well as on TikTok. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and then subscribe anywhere you can get podcasts because it'll alert you once it drops. And we've been dropping consistently every Thursday morning. Thanks to Vince on that. So thank you guys for being with us tonight. Like I said, this was one of the funniest shows that we have ever done. I love this round table. We could do a show on life in the future, and I think it would do very, very well. Yeah. And by that, I mean very, very poorly because everyone else would feel better about themselves after that.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate you guys being on. Kevin should be back next week. We've got an exciting interview lined up already. So should be good. We will be back to normal somewhat next week. So thank you guys again, and we'll talk to you then.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it. Yeah.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is?
Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.